25 seconds to 7:30, but we'll start now. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Handforth Town Council meeting for the 14th of December. As with the planning meeting, should there be an alarm, it's a fire. Get out as quickly as possible at normal exits. Item 1, 2132-1, to receive apologies for absence. See, we're all here. None. Thank you. 2132-2, to know any declarations of interest and requests for dispensation to discuss and vote on a matter in which a member or co-opted member has a disclosable pecuniary or non-pecuniary interest. Any members have any interest? Thank you.
None.
No. None for myself. 2132-3, the open forum. Comment and questions concerning items on the agenda may be put to the council. We also approved that we would allow questions on items not on the agenda at the last meeting or the one before. Whether they are on the agenda or not, the public forum is restricted to 15 minutes in total and will be strictly 3 minutes per person. And we will be timing that to make sure it's been getting a little bit loose, shall we say, over the past few months. So, any members of the public open forum? Any members of the public wish to make any comments? Always one. Say again, please. No. It will be a lot more simple with that, and I'll mention it when we get there. Ian? So, sorry, Ian, would you mind just either taking your mask off or picking up that microphone that's on the table? There's a microphone there, you can use that.
You can sit down. You don't have to stand up.
Right. I hope that doesn't count in my 3 minutes.
Counting.
Okay. Could we please receive an update on where Handforth residents stand with regard to potential county court debt recovery proceedings relating to an Avonshore contract signed in mysterious circumstances earlier this year by ex-councillor Toll?
At the moment, I think I agree with Councillor Moore that we don't have anything succinct at the moment on what is potentially the council's liability. However, we are expecting to get some information from the company Avonshore. Is that be correct? Yes, by all means, Chair. Sorry, Vice Chair.
I sent an email on the 26th of October, to which until today I received no reply. In my conversations, I was told there was documentation and it would be sent to us. It has not been sent. I had an email today, and to which I responded and said, you haven't sent me the paperwork. The council, all the paperwork must be disclosed to the council, as nobody here was involved in any of that discussion and the alleged contract. And so I am awaiting a reply, because we have nothing that's legible. So that's where we are.
Okay, thank you. One further point. My relentless quest over the past year for openness and transparency for the residents of Handforth surrounding the investigation by Cheshire East Council into the behaviour of HPC councillors has still not resulted in any clarity at all. I have, however, now submitted a Freedom of Information request on the total investigation cost to Cheshire East Council, and I'm bracing myself for the due response date, which is next Monday. I have so far, all I've so far been able to glean over the whole 12-month period is that HTC are restrained by Cheshire East Council from telling Handforth residents anything about their investigations. Instead, since the last HTC meeting, the whole mystery has just been further inflamed by one of our 2 Handforth ward councillors on Cheshire East Council, together with 2 other resigned ex-HPC councillors, all of whose actions will be examined as part of the committee deliberations which are taking place next month. I refer, of course, to the distribution to just about every household in Handforth of an extremely contentious and confusing undated issue of the Handforth Star green sheet, which contains all sorts of grievous allegations against Handforth Town Council, many of which are simply stated as so far unchallenged fact. Could HTC please clarify if, and if so how, it's intended to properly set the record straight for all Handforth voters on any of those allegations before the forthcoming election of an additional HTC councillor in 9 days' time?
So, pardon. The situation, as you know, we've been hidebound by Cheshire East that we cannot state what is in the report that we have received. However, we have only received the verdicts of those who have ignored the code of conduct, stomped all over it. However, we're hopeful that the meeting that's due to be held on the 17th of January may bear fruit for us. But I'll go into that in a little more detail when we get to the agenda item. But as for the Handforth Star, certainly considering what we should be doing. Hope that answers your question, as well as we can, I'm afraid.
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
Okay. Any more members of the public with a question? No? Okay, thank you. Next item, 2132.4, to improve and sign the minutes of the HTC meeting of the 9th of November. Any issues with page 1? Oh, so yes, sorry, I'm reminding, we're not going through the pages. Yes. Does anybody have any issues regarding the content of the minutes? No, thank you. Next item. Oh, sorry. Can I have a proposer to accept them? And second? Thank you. And can we have a vote to agree to accept? Oh, sorry. So, yeah. So, thank you. To receive a report, 2132.5, to receive a report from the PCSO. Councillor Smith will give that as the liaison with the police in the absence of Gareth.
Following on from our last update where we reported 5 arrests in relation to burglaries and theft of motor vehicles, we've had a significant drop-off in incidents. We have had 1 burglary in the last month. Even though this is a vast improvement on recent months, we're continuing with the ongoing operation, which has seen more officers in affected locations during key times. Our operation to deal with seasonal crime, retail crime, is still ongoing and has already seen arrests and positive action taken against offenders. Extra staff have been on duty over the weekends in December addressing any issues relating to the nighttime economy. This has seen several licensing visits conducted with positive action taken in relation to any breaches of premises licence. We have also made arrests relating to drug and public order offences. A traffic enforcement day was run from Handforth Dean last week involving local officers and Wilmslow Fire. We were focused on the A34 and A555 during the day. During the day, 10 motorists were dealt with for numerous offences, which included driving whilst using a handheld device, driving without a licence, to name just a few. As well as enforcement action being taken by ourselves, the fire service were also giving out advice on winter safety and checking tyres.
Thank you. Next item. To approve and sign the order of payments for December 2021. Any members have any issues with the content of the order of payments? No? Okay, thank you. Can I have a proposal to accept? Thank you. And to second, please. Thank you. And we have a vote. Those in favour? Thank you. Item 2132.7, to receive a report from Cheshire Ward Councillor Smith.
Following the last meeting, where a member of the public asked if we could provide activities for teenagers in Handforth, myself and Sue Bradshaw from Youth Services spent 3.5 hours in the paddock on Saturday the 13th of November, where we had invited any teenagers to come and speak to us and tell us what they wanted. We spoke to one, a relative of Sue's. As a result of this disappointing consultation, myself, Sue Bradshaw, PCSO Gareth Harding and Matt spent a couple of hours the following Thursday evening walking around Merriton Road Park, Stanley Hall Park, Henbury Road Park and the paddock in order to speak to the reported groups of teenagers who gather in these areas. We spoke to a group of 3 in the paddock who had come from Wilmslow and didn't live in Handforth. We also spoke to 2 in Henbury Road Park who suggested a hangout shelter with benches in Merriton Road Park. We did not meet any other teenagers. There is an existing senior youth club at the youth centre for 12 to 18-year-olds on Monday evenings. The special needs youth club I spoke about in the last meeting, Sensational Stay and Play, has now been running for 4 weeks and has been well attended by an average of 10 to 12 families each week. This is such a valuable service and fulfills an obvious need in our community. Cheshire East have agreed that this volunteer-run group can use the youth centre free of charge for 6 months, which takes financial pressure off the group organisers. I would like to thank the organisers for their hard work in making this initiative such a great success. In the last meeting, I spoke about the Woodland Trust and the fact that community groups are able to apply for free trees to be planted as part of the Queen's Green Canopy. I can report that Friends of Stanley Hall Park have applied for 100 metres of hedgerow, made up of 420 plants, I believe, which is hoped will also help with the drainage problems there. I've also heard from Cheshire East that Mersey Forest are looking for larger projects to fund. Now, Mersey Forest produced this Trees for Climate, and it's not limited to council-owned land. Schools can apply, and farmers, as well as anyone basically, and they help with grants for trees, woodland creation, and if anybody needs a copy of the forms, then they can be made available. And that's it from me.
Thank you. Can I just ask if that detail on the trees, can that be placed on the HTC Facebook page, and then
Yeah.
it can be shared and can be shared across the whole of Handforth as well. Thank you. Item 2132.8, to consider a grant application received from Handforth Hall Tennis Club to completely relay the top court for safety reasons. Grant requested £1,000. After discussions earlier with the clerk, I'm proposing that this is deferred, as the representative of the group who was going to come was unfortunately self-isolating due to COVID. And there are a number of questions that do need answering on this application. So I'm proposing that we defer it until the next meeting. Does anyone have any comments on that, please? No?
I thought that the work was already going to take place in December, or did I read the application incorrectly?
I think there is some work that is going ahead already. I think there was a smaller part of it that they were looking for funding
And this is
for.
the bit to the smaller part, so it's not going to affect anything that they're currently.
That's my understanding.
I think, Ashley, did you get some of the comment from the... Yes, understood. So I'd like to propose that we defer item 2132.8. Can I have a second? Thank you. And vote in favour? Five.
No, I'm voting against deferral. I don't understand why, because I think there's enough information in the paperwork that we've had. What other questions could possibly need to be asked?
Well, I had questions that I wanted asking.
Okay.
Answering, Rebecca.
I
Okay.
vote against deferral.
Thank you. Item 2132.9. Motion that following the receipt of further correspondence from Cheshire East regarding the Handforth Youth Centre, to authorise the submission of the required application form to Cheshire East. Ashley's done a very good job on this. You'll see there's a copy of it in your pack. Following an email that was received from Cheshire East concerning the devolution of the youth centre, the next stage is the application form, and I'd like to propose that we submit that application form to go forward to the next stage after that. I will reissue the fact that we will not be making any agreements without it going through full council.
May I ask a question, Chair?
Please, yeah.
I'm assuming that this is the correspondence that is required for Cheshire East to release to us all the information that we need to have. Yeah.
Yes, it's
So we can't see any of the documentation until that's gone in.
No, this is the only documentation we currently have, which is the application.
But what I'm saying is they won't release anything until that's done. So that's
correct. That's the next stage in the process. Can I ask for a proposal?
Second.
Second, thank you. Some more. Those in favour? Thank you. Unanimous. 2132.10, to receive the interim audit report for financial year 21-22. Yeah, so see you at the next meeting. Okay, are you happy with that, Chair of Finance? It goes on the Finance Committee meeting. Yes. Thank you. Do we need to officially defer that, or is that just? Yeah. Yes. Right. Can I have a proposal to defer it, please? And second. And a vote in favour, please. Thank you. Unanimous. Item 213212, to receive notices and correspondence. Beg your pardon. Sorry, to agree the HCC meeting dates for 2022. Does anyone have any queries about these proposed dates? No. They're always flexible if necessary. Yes. No. Yeah, it's a good base to start off with. So, yep. Yep, that's fine. Can I have a proposal to accept those dates for next year, please? Thank you. And a second, thank you. And can I have a vote in favour? Unanimous. Thank you. Back to 213212, to receive notices and correspondence. We've been made aware that the Cheshire East Audit and Governance Committee will be meeting on the 17th of January 2022. This is the meeting to discuss the report into behaviour of those councillors whose disgraceful behaviour towards the clerk and Jackie Weaver was subject to the viral video. This meeting is a public meeting, which is what we've been waiting for. As the member of the public said earlier, we have been waiting for quite some time to get to this stage. Yes, it's over a year since the investigation started, and now we are hopeful that the three across here, Sue, Cynthia, and myself, but mostly Ashley, who was subject to disgraceful treatment by these three ex-parish councillors, that they will hopefully be brought to task in some way, shape or form on the publication of this report. As I said, it is a public meeting. Whether there'll be room for everybody who wants to get in, I'm not sure. I'm certain that I will be making efforts to get there. Once the report has gone, I believe, Ashley can correct me if this is wrong, once the report has gone through this meeting, the Audit and Governance Committee, it can be made public. Right. So, yeah. So yes, as asked on more than one occasion, unfortunately we can't give you the answer that we want, but yes.
Can a member of the public ask for it under an FOI?
I think that's what Ian said
Can any
before.
member of the public ask for it under an FOI?
Yeah, but as he mentioned, I mean, you might not have heard him. He has put in an FOI request to find out what the costs were of this investigation.
So I'm very confused here. So this is a public meeting which everybody can go to. They're going to discuss the report, but not necessarily reveal everything in it. Is that what we're saying? And then that's it, you've got to leave. Can I just put on the record here, I am absolutely disgusted with Cheshire East. We have waited 18 months, how long is it? When did this start? June 2020. June 2020. We had a decision and the notification from from Cheshire East when? June? April this year. And where are we going to be? January next year. It's an absolute disgrace, and I'd like that put on the record because I think Cheshire East have behaved absolutely disgracefully, it's intolerable. And residents here should know what's gone on here, because people have been subjected to all sorts of things here and people should know about it. And it's disgraceful. I'm sorry, and I want that on the record. Really angry. Sorry.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yep.
At every end and turn. You can't go anywhere.
Yes. Well, it's not just the Handforth
A
Star.
classic example. And we can't, and we have our mouths zipped and can't say anything because this report can't be revealed. It's disgraceful.
And we've also got the Handforth Star issue where a Cheshire East Ward councillor has repeated in print the incorrect accusations that were certainly to the fore in the reports and the investigations. And well, I couldn't dream of saying something like that. That would be unkind. But yes, and the three of us here and Ashley have been subject to some vexatious complaints, and I'm on my 5th solicitor's letter currently, which we'll treat with the same disdain as the first.
Yeah. And I sincerely hope that anybody who can support the legislation that hopefully will get to Parliament about all the changing of legislation to deal with all these kind of matters, which is being dealt with by the local Chalk and Nalk and all these people, then I'm hoping that people will support it, because things need to change. People should not be subjected to this kind of behaviour for this length of time. It's an absolute disgrace, and it needs to change. Cheshire East need to take a long, hard look. I noticed that the council leader Sam Corcoran came out and said on his leaflet that in 2019 there was bullying at Cheshire East, and it's all finished now. Well, I would like him to come here and have a look at all this report, and then perhaps he'd understand that it's still happening.
Thank you, Sue. We fully agree with everything that you said.
Sorry?
We fully agree with everything that you've said. Item 213213, to agree the date of the next HCT meeting, should be held on the 18th of January. Problems with that? No.
Oh, the day after
Okay.
the governance.
Exactly. That's it. Exactly. Yeah.
Thank you, Councillor.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
And a happy Christmas.
Oh, yeah. Merry Christmas to all.
Exactly that. But it's because it's, as you say, it's keyboard warriors, people who haven't really thought about it or looked into it. And it's when you find out that sometimes you get people saying, well, instead of spending the money on Christmas lights, spend it on fixing the potholes, for example. Well, potholes is not a town council or parish council issue. That's for Cheshire East to sort out. So the money is not there for that. These idiots who think that, well, you can spend it on whatever you like. It's not the case. Not the case.
Yeah, £3
Yep.
a head.
Per household. £3,000 per household is what those lights cost. And
The price of a cup of coffee.
the price of a third of a pint. Thank you very much. Appreciate that, Chris. Thank you. Good. I thought someone had shot you then.
Don't make me laugh.